Welcome to Look at Pothead Joe Pop Puttyman here. Today, I am with RLG himself, Nicky Picky, and I'm also here with John from Kemper Reviews. Guys, the same, right? And we're going to go back on something that RLG, aka Nicky Picky, is the one that actually did was the Mandela Effect. Now, we actually, if you guys haven't seen it, I will definitely link it below for you guys, and put the video at the end here so you guys can go check out that podcast. But that actually was a podcast where we were talking about the Mandela Effect, things of that nature. And then, of course, Nikki brought up to me that some crazy stuff started happening when it came into the comments. And we thought it'd be funny to go through these, read them, comment about it, so on and so forth. So before I get into it, do you guys have anything you guys might want to bring up about the Mandela Effect, or you guys want to just jump into the comments?
Yeah, I think I want to go first and just say that if you guys watch our podcast we made, like Putty mentioned, it'll be in the description of this video. The podcast that we made before, I mentioned that I don't really think that the Mandela Effect exists. I think it's just something that we misbelieve, we don't remember. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Mandela Effect, I guess Putty should link to a video so you guys can understand what that is. But everyone should know by now. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it.
Fact, great.
So this video is. So we're gonna link to that video, right? But this video is us reacting to the comments from that video.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And also the Mandela Effect community in general, basically.
Exactly.
Oh, you mean like the dumpster babies?
Exactly.
exactly. Because, we have our general comments that people actually had said in it, and I do want to go back on some people that actually wrote comments. So we will be bouncing back and forth. But what I have done is I've actually layered the comments down from newest to oldest, and we're going to start from the oldest one. So if you want to follow along with us, you can in that video. Just go to the comments and everything. Again, we will link that. I'll even put a little citation on the top right-hand side so you guys can go to it now if you want to have it on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into some of the craziest stuff that we actually had. First and foremost, I'm going to read this out loud. This is the first thing I've got here from somebody called Humble Alchemist. And this is probably the most craziest thing I've read so far. And I'd love to hear what you guys say. But this is what he said. He basically said, great to hear an unbiased opinion. I have a Mandela Effect channel. My sole experience was the Sagittarius arm location claimed by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and now we are located in Orion's spur over 200 light years away from Sagittarius' used arm in the Milky Way. But no explanation from modern astronomers. Then everything else sort of snowballed from there, and I'll always keep an open mind, though. So, this is going to be one of those more not mentally crazy ones as far as when we get in the comments. So that's why I thought I'd pick something that was a little more, adding another Mandela Effect when it comes to Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I think we even said something about Neil deGrasse Tyson in the last Mandela Effect. Was that correct? I can't remember if we did or not. Did we?
No.
Okay. So I know that there has been some crazy stuff, and I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually brought up again. But how familiar are you guys with him as well? I mean, are you guys really familiar with him or no?
Yeah, I am. And especially when it comes to the Mandela Effect. We should have probably talked about it in the last episode. But yeah, I know his theories on it.
What are
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela.
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, the boxer.
Yeah, the boxer.
Can I answer this comment?
Yeah, sure.
As an expert on the subject, and I went to school for therapy and like mental
conspiracy
brain thinky stuff. You're crazy. You just backtracked on your own thing. You said Neil deGrasse Tyson said this, and that there's been no response from modern astronomers. Well, isn't that what he is? So technically, didn't he just give you a response? And that one is borderline like, I think you saw Men in Black and you saw the word Orion's belt and then you just believed something and then now something else is happening.
Right.
Like that one, I honestly I forgot even what I was gonna say because that was just baffling. Like I'm not even in like a dickish way. I don't understand what your point is.
Maybe we should go on to the next one because they get a lot worse than that.
Yeah. So the next one I'm going to go to is actually, and again, I'm doing these in order, and this is going to have some of those comments that replies to this that are going to go into the crazy one. So this one's from a comment 1 month ago from Disinformation World where he says, Seen so many things change that there is no question this is real. But if you want incontrovertible proof, look into the Statue of Liberty. Photographic proof, photos, coins bombed in World War II, change of location, and islands farther away from New York coast. You can literally find photos of the statue not only in different locations, but obvious differences in pose and appearance. The statue has even disappeared from some, I'm sorry, the things, from some selfie photos. Research it for yourself. Or if you prefer, the JFK assassination has 2 photographs of the murder of JFK with 2 different cars. The 4-seat version I remember, and the 6-seat car that I don't. Hardcore proof that this is a real phenomenon and far beyond a memory issue. The more you research, the more you find. In my personal situation, I constantly take photos, and they are changing in amazing ways, like buildings appearing, moving, or changing, with trees appearing to obstruct what I attempt to photograph. You can call this a hoax, call me full of BS, all you want. I've seen the truth 1,000 times over for myself. Here's the thing. The truth is out there if you even do a casual amount of research into this.
Are you still reading his comment?
Yes. I had 6 moon landings. I've lived both life with 1. Enough said. Now,
hold on. What's this guy's name?
This is the disinformation world. That's his channel.
Okay, wait. Was there any replies? Because I feel like I replied to this guy.
Yeah, you replied to this one.
What did I say? What did I say?
You said it's hard for me to believe something if it hasn't happened to me. I've never experienced the Mandela Effect in my life. I've seen a bunch of videos showing proof that the Mandela Effect is real, but I've also seen photos proving it is not real. Thank you for your comment, or for the comment. I'll be sure to do some research on the Statue of Liberty Mandela Effect. Now, based on what you said, here's my thing. We live in a world where anything can be touched up, anything can be faked. You know what I mean? You can't go online and say, oh, this photo shows proof. And for someone to say that they have the photos, well, okay, I'm not sure with disinformation world. I didn't go check his. I definitely need to research. But at the same time, how do I know this person isn't fabricating it just so he can
from the research I've done about that stupid Statue of Liberty Mandela Effect, like stupid, is basically just people taking pictures from different angles, and it looks like it's in different locations.
I want to turn. Information world, you're full of BS. That, like, I don't know. I actually looked this one up because this person is the first time I've ever heard of this. So it must not be a big one. Also, I looked it up, and all the pictures without the Statue of Liberty are completely easily to notice that it's photoshopped. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big-time history person. Like, I spend hours and hours and hours and hours watching different history shows, especially on YouTube. New York never got bombed in World War II. And why would they just bomb the Statue of Liberty? Like, they were like, yeah, that's the one. We're not going to kill any people. Our bombing's a sign of liberty.
Well, here's the funny thing. We have people that actually feel considerably bad for this person. Like, for example, Buck Uwer, which we're going to definitely hear that name a lot, Buck Uwer. He said, this conclusion is incontrovertible proof that I have lost your ability to think in a rational manner. Consider this. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia that causes problems of memory, thinking, and behavior. Alzheimer's disease accounts for 60% to 80% of dementia cases. Approximately 200,000 Americans under the age of 65 have younger onset Alzheimer's disease, also known as early senility. The belief that reality is changing or has changed is common among Alzheimer's sufferers, and often similarly afflicted people agree that there are conspiracies against them, causing changes to the past as they remember it.
So basically, this guy's saying that he thinks this guy's like just crazy.
Can I let me get that quick, Putty? I know you're trying to say that. Basically, what he's saying is he's trying to seem like he's really smart and he in a really, really smart way, pretending that he's smart, call the guy a stupid idiot. Yeah. That's what he's trying to do. Well, he's not trying to bring light to dementia. He's just trolling this guy, but trying to sound smart doing it.
But see, it continues because he's also nice. He says, what are we witnessing is the Alzheimer's effect, not the Mandela effect. And he even gives a hotline in the comment and says, hey, behavior and changes, and shows proof of like what other people don't do. They show links and stuff to that nature where that people can get help or show how.
That just seems like the most epic of trolls to me.
Oh, well, yeah, but see, if you want to really hear some stuff, see, that might be a troll, but the next comment is from Tank Apples, and we're going to hear a lot from that person. He said, quantum computers share information with huge numbers of versions of themselves throughout the multiverse. This is quoting David Dusouche, I can't pronounce that, physicist of the University of Oxford, man with a doctorate, also author of The Fabric of Reality. He pioneered the field of quantum computation by formulating a description for a quantum Turing machine, as well as specifying an algorithm designed to run on a quantum computer. David Dessouche is credited with being the father of quantum computing. Now, he does link a video, but at the same time, I'm not going to click on it. I don't suggest anybody else. I feel like that could be clickbait. But this is just an idea of how people go way down the rabbit hole and want to prove something to be true or not. And at the same point, we're going to see later on that a lot of these people start going off the edge when they start sounding like they're intelligent, but then their intelligence really starts to decrease once they're confronted about it.
It's not. I don't think that it's intelligence decreasing. It's that people sometimes that are very smart tend to become very like addicted to certain like subject matter, and they can't stop like digging for it, right? So a lot of times you're gonna see like this person believes that, okay, Mandela Effect is real now, so all their time and effort is going into it, no matter how smart they are. So they're coming out with like these really big like hypotheses and like answers, and like they can come at you with all this information even though none of it's real. But because they've decided now that this is what they're going to focus on, they're making their own math that doesn't compute to real life. Like, to me, the Mandela Effect, it said best, literally best by H3H3. It's just something that stupid people use because they forgot something. And now they don't want to admit that they're dumb. So they're just like, oh, it's Mandela Effect.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and I love that, because the thing is, I was going to continue on there, but I want to actually, so it won't be too long into this podcast, I want to move on to the ones that the reason why we're actually here about these comments. Because if you do move on to the next recent comment, and John, you actually commented in this one, I don't know if you realize it, but we are going to speak with we're going to read a comment from a person called Quantum Reality. This is where we're going to end up going down the rabbit hole of what I call, you need to seek a little bit of attention from a doctor, I think. And let me read this. He says, Islam conquered Indonesia in the 12th century. The European Dutch landed in Papua New Guinea in 1650. The European landed in Australia in 1780. But now it is less than 100 miles, I guess, between Indonesia, PNG, and Australia. Now Indonesians are trying to migrate to Australia in rowboats. It is a big problem with illegal aliens now. Australia used 3,000 miles from Southeast Asia from Australia as part of Asia. Its today's maps used in the 12th century Islam would have conquered Australia and PNG. You can see the world's less again. I feel like if I continue to read this, it's just going on a tangent of something that doesn't even compare to what we're talking about.
Yeah, someone just wanted a place to outlet their fucking
right.
rant.
Well then, when we continue, as we come back to the Buck Ura we talked about before, and he said 12.5 is about the percentage of Americans that are early, similar, or full-blown dementia. It's like he put the dementia thing based on this guy. But then Quantum Reality says Buck Ura is only digital construct, non-entity. Buck Ura is only a background of a simulation. Buck Ura is are useless. Buck Ura, it is nothing. Now, again, I'm saying that sentence. I didn't stutter that sentence. I literally read it the way it sounded. This is a guy that decided to bust out a bunch of knowledge about history with Indonesia, Islam, and all that kind of stuff. But then his language, I don't know, again, like you, Nikki, you had brought this up and said people get upset and they start breaking up their language. But when someone speaks with such intelligence, but then all of a sudden has such broken English and doesn't have punctuation, capitalization, it makes me wonder, where does intelligence come in? Because I had no idea about any of the stuff he said above. But I know for a fact, even with my brief intelligence, I know basic English.
Oh,
yeah. And how does somebody that knows something so scientifically or so historically doesn't know the basic setup of English?
I know the answer.
What's that?
Well, first of all, I specialize in troll. So at this point, now that we're reading these again, I'm getting back, like remembering what this is about. Dementia guy is just trying to get people to go look at his page.
Right.
Okay. Second, the other guy is extremely smart. He's a super fucking nerd. He's like big time hardcore nerd. So what he's doing when he's talking, if you want to read it again and think about it, he's trying to make it seem like he's a supercomputer and he's talking to you like a computer would. He's not talking in broken English. Read that again and pretend it was like a robot talking to you.
Wait. Okay,
Buck is stupid. Buck is irrelevant. like I'm a computer telling you that because I'm so smart. This is how I'm trolling you by
Well,
pretending I'm a
but see,
computer.
it doesn't say Buck. It doesn't say it like computer talk. Computers say Buck is irrelevant. Okay, it says it like that. It doesn't say
Yeah,
Buck.
he's trying to.
No,
He's
look,
trying to-
John, you're absolutely wrong, man. I'm telling you, these guys genuinely are so passionate about the Mandela effect, man. And the reason I know this, I got a confession to make. I got a confession. When the 9/11 conspiracy shit was going on YouTube, remember how that's basically what started YouTube conspiracies in general was
Yeah,
9/11?
but that's not a Mandela effect.
But this is my whole point. When that happened, I would literally watch it and I'd go in comments and get into arguments with people and just about stupid shit. And that's what's happening with the Mandela effect now. It's younger kids or older guys who aren't that educated on how the internet works who are so passionate about it and think that it exists, or other people that think it doesn't exist. Like, there was
So how did he speak so articulately and then all of a sudden not have English?
It's like I said to Puttyman, this guy's so angry that he's
No, because
literally...
it wouldn't change the way you're typing. You wouldn't type differently because you're
telling
angry.
you, the reason that he's doing it, it might not be because he's angry. Maybe he's just a dumbass, okay? But my whole point is these guys are actually passionate about the Mandela effect. That's why they're watching a small YouTuber's video. They're not doing it to get subs or anything. They're doing it because they fucking genuinely think this shit exists, and they're actually a little crazy.
Well, I mean, either way, whether the computer or not, when you read a sentence, and I'm gonna read it verbatim again. When you read a sentence that says "Buck Ewer, it is are useless." That right there is not even a mess up a computer would do. It would never say it is are useless. That is the most broken I've ever seen. That is somebody that is not thinking correctly, that does not have a proper mentality to fracture a simple sentence, let alone do anything else. For all I know, that stuff up there that he wrote could have been copy and pasted as well.
Okay, that's fine. And if you don't want to believe me saying that, that's completely okay. I actually think you guys are wrong. But to say that there's something wrong with him because he wrote like that there's nothing to back that up.
So I'm saying there's something wrong with him because of that fucking
in general,
paragraph in
I
general.
get it, okay, but to say because of that second comment, he all of a sudden couldn't do that, we can't say that. We don't know. That could just be the way he talks.
What he said about the copy and pasting is probably true, but again, if you're copy and pasting a comment, you would have noticed a spelling error eventually. The thing that, like I said, these people are just trying to convince the world that what they believe in is the truth. It's the same thing as flat earthers right now. Go watch any flat earth video, and everyone's like, "You're so stupid. The earth is flat. Look at the moon."
Want to Mandela affect me? I'm okay with that because there's been science. There's other universes. There's the potential of multiverse, which is actually a Marvel thing, so please don't ever use that, guys. There's a potential of multiple universes that are the same, like of our just Earth. Like there's other Earths, the same Earth. Like there's actual potential for this to exist. Okay.
Well,
I mean, well, hold on, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, what? I literally just forgot what I was talking about.
Talking about the guy basically, and you're trying to explain what's his purpose of posting that comment.
There's no like backing to this. I don't understand the need to get behind it. But like
that's what I'm saying. I do understand it.
But with the potential of multiverses, this is where I was going. Sorry, guys, I smoked. With the potential of multiverses, the Mandela effect is plausible, but not probable. Okay, the flat Earth is not possible. Not possible.
I think we should definitely save that whole thing for another podcast. So don't go into that too much.
You know what? We can have our fun here, making fun of Mandela effect people, but I don't think it's impossible. Flat Earth is just so stupid that if you actually believe that, you need to seek help because that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, this is the reason why we're going into this, because the thing is, when we get into it, I see people that want to use things when we were talking about the Mandela effect, that want to use things about Alzheimer's. Like the next comment was actually by Buck Ewer, where he goes back into the Alzheimer's thing. But then I want to bring up something that commented, because he talks about how it's memory loss and everything, and the guy says...
But hold on, before you do that, just to prove my point even more, that guy is literally just going, and basically everyone he sees that thinks the Mandela effect is really trying to help them. And that's my whole point. He's one of these people that's so passionate about, like, you guys are idiots, and I'm going to prove to you that you're idiots, that this is what he does. He goes on YouTube, and he tries to tell people that they're wrong about what they're saying in comment sections.
This feels more the opposite, but keep going.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
Oh, no, okay. It feels more the opposite to me, where he's so scared that this could actually exist that he's trying to find the most logical way to
No, I'm
tell
telling
everyone
you,
that
he
it doesn't.
literally, I'm seeing these comments as they're getting posted on our YouTube channel, and the guy's literally just going on to everyone and basically telling them that
Yeah,
you need
like,
to seek help. You're
he doesn't want to.
wrong.
He doesn't want to believe it. It scares him
It's
so much that
it's.
his defense mechanism is to tell everybody they're wrong and they need to get help.
I don't think it's not like that. It's like a religious person. It's like you don't believe Jesus is real. Well, you're an idiot.
Okay,
Jesus
yeah,
is
that's
real.
fair. That's fair. But that's like, but the reason that religious people believe those things, first of all, because it's built into their psyche, and second, because they're scared of things that they don't know, because they're so trained to believe this one thing that anything that comes from outside of their box is bad.
Well, basically, this is what we're commenting. Okay, so this guy's basically trying to make these guys believe that the Mandela effect is not real. We are just commenting on saying and how stupid it is. We think it's not true. Well, I don't care what you believe in, but this guy cares what you believe in, and I don't think that's right. What this guy is doing.
That's okay. You're right. That's right.
And see, that's the major thing. The thing is whether or not because the thing is, we said ourselves, we don't believe it. We have our opinions. That's what these videos are about. These podcasts are about. You know what I mean? That's my whole point. He did bring up the Alzheimer's thing, but I want to bring the next comment. Tank Apple says, so what about the other millions of people who have the same memory issue, okay? And when they're talking about the Mandela effect, and here's my thing when we talk about the whole Mandela effect, we had talked about last time and everything, and I don't want to get into it too much because, again, like you said, Nick, it's another video. But the reason why I also, with Tank Apples, where he does the whole where he says that memory issue, and I don't agree with it, where he says millions of people have the same memory issue. The reason that millions of people have the same memory issue is because no one knew about the thing I said about when I was a kid and the whole Max Headroom thing. There were millions of people that had no idea about that, okay? But there were millions of people that were reading the book of the Berenstain Bears. But the thing is that Berenstain Bears theory did not really actually happen until the internet came to be.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, when the internet came to be, that's when people started thinking, oh, that's how I saw it, because you're not reading Berenstain Bears for the rest of your life. You read that when you were a kid, and then you let that book go, and then you moved on to the Hardy Boys or whatever, or Drew, Nancy Drew, and things of that nature. You moved on to bigger, better books, and from that point on, you forgot about that book. So when you go back to it, your memory might be changed because Simpsons did an episode.
Yeah, but you're forgetting a key ingredient into that. You're going back to it. And the reason you're going back to it is because people are telling you that it's incorrect. So you're not going back there and discovering that on your own. You're going back there because one clickbaiter is like, oh shit, this is a good clickbait. And then that's your way of going back to it. Oh, maybe it was Berenstein or Stain, whatever the fuck it was.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing of just playing mind tricks with you. And
Can I come in here?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so a big one for me is the Berenstain Bears. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why, because it's the one that basically started this whole Mandela effect blowing up to be as big as it was. But this is something that, to the point where I remember it being different than what it is, okay? I'm one of the different people. But it's been so long that I can't even trust my own memory. Like, personally, myself, I'm like, I can't. So this is my thing. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the scientific word, so I'm not even going to try to get into it. But there's, like, a disorder similar to, like, how you have Stockholm Syndrome when you start to like the person who kidnapped you. There's a thing with when groups of people start believing things around you and they present you something plausible, you just start to believe it because everyone else is believing it. Yep. And you might not even have ever read Berenstain Bears, but because everyone else is talking about it, you suddenly think that you remember this, but you don't. Exactly. That was like a big thing that came out of the Cinemassacre video too, that it's just sometimes when so many people are believing something and it's everywhere, you just believe it out of force. It's not really, you don't actually believe this.
100%.
And then it becomes a chain reaction, and now the whole world thinks this.
Yep.
And we'll see, that's the thing. That's what makes us so passionate, because again, we made this video talking about comments that people wrote, and the thing is we get deep into conversation about this, but we're logically also open to think that there's broken memories, broken fragments, and we are also willing to look at research. But what ends up happening is the people go down the rabbit hole so badly that they just don't use common sense, and I think that's why these comments I'm reading are becoming such an interesting fact, because the guy that I said that we're going to come back to, quantum reality, actually says, and these logical words, and for some reason it goes back to something that could be Matrix. I think we even had a conversation during this with one of you guys, but he states, I wanted to have a logical argument for whom are not experiencing the reality shift as are pointed. No way the history lines up with the geography. Yes, we know some are not experiencing the reality shift, seem real people. Notwithstanding, they are only digitals, constructs, non-entities, not aware in the simulation. Now, again, I feel like
Did
this
I
guy might be
comment on
trolling.
this?
Yeah, you can. But let me just say this real quick.
Did I comment on it?
No, you didn't. You didn't comment on this
Okay.
one. But the thing is, this could be someone trolling us, and you know what? That's funny, ha ha ha. But the thing is, we actually get 2 or 3 common people that commented in the RLG podcast, and that's Buck Uwer, Quantum Reality, and Tank Apples. They get so deep in the conversation to point out their one side that it starts trailing off into something that doesn't even sometimes feel like we're even talking about Mandela Effect anymore. And that's what makes this so crazy, how one thing can cause a ripple effect to cause other conversations. And
that's a good point.
And my thing is this is exactly what the Mandela Effect is all about in my eyes. And that is filling in lost fragments of memory. You said yourself you can't remember everything. I can't remember anything else, but I've also unfortunately had the fragmented memory come back in where I fill in the spot myself. For example, like I told you with the Max Headroom thing. Well, people do the same thing. They may not have a memory of what they might remember the book being a certain way until they got on the internet and someone told them it was a different way. Well, in their head, they haven't thought about this book in years, but they had the memory in the back of their head that was broken. And because it's broken, the internet filled it in for whatever reason, however they wanted to, and
you
now
heard it and you filled it in.
Exactly.
Your brain has a need to fill in gaps. So if you can't remember something, you might not even subconsciously know that you're thinking about it. But someone presented you an idea, and then your brain is like, oh, I know something about this, but I can't remember. So you start filling in the gaps with the false information, and then it just becomes memory. Yeah. And you don't even know that your brain is doing it.
Yeah, and that's a good example of how I got introduced to the Mandela Effect. I got introduced to, like I told you guys in the last episode, from one of my friends, showed it to me, and he was so convinced that it was real. And every single, he sent me 3 videos or something that were like 10 minutes each or whatever, and every single thing, and the videos were like compilations of Mandela Effects, and I was like, no dash in the Kit Kat, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Febreze spelled, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know, and I don't care either, to be honest.
Well, that's the whole point. For us, we're willing to accept faults or accept that we have a broken memory or accept that we don't know if this really did happen or not. But at the same point, we can also pick up an old Berenstein Bears book and go, oh, well, I've had this for years. Clearly, I'm holding the same book I had when I was a kid, and it clearly shows the proof that it was the original name, and your video changed my mind. But the whole point is there are people, just like we have in the comments, that are so strong that they don't want to have, like maybe they have parents that went into, like they said, Alzheimer's, that one person said, and that they because their parents went through Alzheimer's, they don't want to believe that they have it, so they're so passionate about my thing is real. I know it's real and my thing is real. And then they get so passionate in the comments that they have to fight for what's real. And that's the reason why I find it so funny when we read these comments, is because at the same point, maybe these people do have some intelligence, but because questioning their intelligence makes them go off the deep end, and because they're going off the deep end, they can't coherently think about what they're typing. And so that may where they start to progress into, I don't want to say stupidity, but again, more of I can't think straight, so I'm just going to use what I know and not try to fill in the blanks and properly speak English. Just make sure I use big words. Anybody can use big words and fill in big words that they may know, if they know those words. You know what I mean? I can know a word that you don't know that's a big word and be using it every single time to the point where you even can make it a big word.
Assuming that that's what happens just because they're mad you can't, because you can't actually know that.
Right.
Like maybe someone is really smart and is telling you real things, and you're just choosing to believe that they're nonsensical because you don't understand it. I'm not pointing you out. I'm just saying in general. And like a lot of things, like I'm not going to sit here and point at all of you guys in the comments and say this guy's stupid, this guy's stupid. I know we did, but we're just having fun. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say you're all stupid, because you know what? Maybe one of you is right and we're all wrong. But at the same time, logically, I can't believe most of it. But realistically, if you're listening to us, I want more of those comments, because there's I like to poke around and like see the other Mandela effects. As you will say, it gives us content. We could do another whole Mandela effect video where we can talk about other Mandela effects. Like this one is more like a commentary on the last video, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And that's
like,
what
we could go into a whole nother one.
That's why I wanted to do this, because Nikki was the one that brought the idea to me, because the thing is we have these people who are so passionate, and I want these people, like, if we could find a way to link to these people so they can actually hopefully find this video, and they'll be like, oh my God, I remember watching this video, they're talking about me.
Well, they'll find it.
Yeah, and that's my whole point.
You don't have to tag it.
I want them to respond. I want them to come back and be like, hey, this is why I feel so passionate, because at the same time, what it brings in is not just more content, but it also brings in one point. When someone is repetitively speaking and saying the same thing over and over again, you're gonna see the same thing. They're gonna be so passionate, but they can't change their thoughts and ideas.
There's
like
one argument.
Yeah, and here's a prime example. I'm looking at Tank Apples right now, okay, and as I'm reading it, here's the one thing I noticed. He commented, made two comments, but both of the comments are different, but at the same time, they're exactly the same. Like he actually puts a quote from somebody that's an author of something called Fabric of Reality, and literally copy and paste the same thing over and again. And this right here shows a little bit of proof of what I was referring to earlier, where someone could have copy and pasted something, saying using it as their own words of intelligence, but then when you actually say something to them and they have to comment back and they can't use a copy paste method with their comment back, you start seeing the broken English. You start seeing, oh, wait a second, this guy's reading something that he believes, just like people believe the Mandela effect, and now they're going to copy and paste and use it as their own words, but then when you put them on the spot, you see the broken English. You see how it's different from the actual main.
Well,
yeah, that's a good point.
It's such a belief in something without a way to explain it, even for themselves. Like they're believing in this so much that all they know is what they're being told, and they can't actually comprehend it and create their own hypothesis or theories on the subject, because that's not they don't have the smarts to do that. So they're just repeating what they know from what they've been told, and that's all they know. So they can only tell you a certain amount of information, right? They're not building their own dossiers on Mandela effect. They're just watching internet videos and believing that something is real.
And that's right.
I was gonna say, I think we should try to wrap it up soon. It's getting up. We're probably on like the 40-minute mark.
Oh yeah,
right.
For sure, for sure.
We'll sum up the things. The thing is to the people that commented, first and foremost, thank you. You made things interesting. I know that the original Mandela Effect video that RLG posted has got over 1,000 views, and it did marvelous. We thank you for the comments. We want those continued comments. We'll make another Mandela Effect video as well, and then we'll just keep it as a bounce effect. If you guys want to comment, if you want to fill, bringing you along might even be something we can just comment below. Tell us what you guys think in your own opinion. Myself, I will just say this to sum it up. I don't believe that Mandela Effect is a real thing. I think it's a broken memory, but I do enjoy the thought of learning new things. I still watch these videos on Mandela Effect because there is an interest, and I'm always going to be learning. I'm always going to be open to learning new things. But I want to keep in mind that if you're going to, and this is how I feel, this is my opinion, if you're going to state any information when it comes to comments and stuff like that, make sure you take the time to put your own research into it, but at the same point, when you're putting the research in, to look at what you're putting into it, because if one thing looks intelligent, but then the intelligence is broken down later on, as far as not saying you're intelligent, but as far as how you're putting things in consideration as far as a reply, always look back and say, read it yourself. Read it to yourself, because you're going to stop for a moment and go, oh, wait a second. Let me try to say this in a different way. And what do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Just sum up what you guys think as well. That's what I think.
Well, are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm just saying because basically, summing that's my sum up of why we did this video. I wanted people to be aware of just themselves, not what they just believe in. But the reason I wanted to do this video was because I want people to look back when they're writing a sentence, not to just type the sentence and hit enter and automatically post it. Sometimes you have to sit there and reread your sentence and think about what you're writing, because sometimes you might not realize what's coming off is going to affect other people, whether you're trolling or not. If you're trolling, then it's probably good to hit enter, because it's good for a troll to make people want to comment in return. But if you really want people to listen to you, sometimes you have to read your own writing and see if it qualifies as a plausible answer without sounding like it's broken, if you know what I mean, or broken English, if you know what I mean, or broken word.
Is this when I do it?
Yeah. I mean, how would you feel? How do you feel about the conversation we've had, about the comments in general? Summing up, how do you feel about all this?
I'm indifferent.
Okay.
To be realistic, like, I like doing the podcasts because I like to talk about things, but realistically, I could care less. Like, it's not. This subject is irrelevant to life, and I'm not gonna go bother digging too deep for this. If you guys want to dig deep, you dig deep. You can always let us know how you feel, but realistically, even if it is real, how does that affect you? Yep. Okay, so there's a multiverse. What are you gonna do about it? Thank you. Have a nice day.
and Nick, how would you like to add to that?
Not really. I said what I think about it at the beginning, man. The whole point of this conversation was just for us our thoughts on the whole Mandela Effect community, and I think we did a good job of letting you guys know our thoughts on it. And yeah, just let us know in the comments what you guys think about what we think about the community.
All right, perfect. And again, guys, keep in mind, everything that we stated is also opinion and how we feel. Just like you guys drop opinions in the comments below. And the thing is we love you guys for coming out here, talking to us, so on and so forth. Keep the comments going and everything. We'll be happy to, if you guys enjoy this and you comment below and you want us to make another, then make a comment saying, I want you to comment on my comment, and we'll comment. You know what?
Comment on the comment?
Exactly. Because that's what the thing is. We want to make sure this content that you can enjoy, and we hope that in the long run, this was enjoyable when it came to conversation, and also seeing how you felt as well. So, make sure you comment below and tell us what you guys think. So I'm gonna go and end it here. I want to thank Nick Picky with RLG. Make sure you go check out his channel. I'll link it below. It's Roblox Games, but it's RLG now. But that is with Roblox Games. So thank you, Nikki, for being here. And then we also have John with Campo Reviews. Check him out on Instagram. That's campo.reviews. I'm going to go ahead and link to that as well. Go follow him on there and everything. I appreciate you being here as well. This is actually my first podcast. I will link this with their podcast in the playlist as well. And then I will also link the original Mandela Effect video that we did on their end. And I will do a link a video to the Mandela Effect, or explain the Mandela Effect if you're still confused in any way at this point. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure you go check out their social locations on YouTube and on Instagram. And as always, I am Puttyman with GatorPods. Thank you guys for watching. You all have a great day, and we'll see you in the comments later. Peace.
Bagels.